Hey everyone, what is going on? And welcome to another video. It is Halloween season, it is spooky season, and I have my ghost face mask. So if it's hard to understand me, just let me know in the comments down below and I won't wear it again for a video. But I figured, why not? I mean, it's Halloween, I love horror franchises, including Scream, one of my favorites. Chucky is another favorite of mine. But yeah. Either way, we are taking a look at a really powerful team. Now, I got this team from my friend Jamie from Pallet Town, who hit Legend with this team, and I think he got this one from Smash King multiple seasons ago, and he's hit Legend with this team so many times. Now, unfortunately, I am not Legend. I got up to 2986, and then I did some tanking, so right now, by the time you're watching this, it might be a little bit different, but right now I'm at 2680. So really unfortunate there, but I was hoping to hit Legend during Go Battle Weekend, but the stars just didn't align for me, right? But either way, the team is Defense Deoxys, Umbreon, and Shadow Nidoqueen, and I think Nidoqueen is really, really underrated ever since it got the nerf. Rightfully so, but I still think it's really good. But let's go ahead and dive right into the battles and see what we got going on for us. Great lead. Okay, and I actually did encounter a lot of ghost leads. So I go into my Nidoqueen right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and commit a shield right now with my Shadow Nidoqueen because this would do so much damage. That actually might even KO me. I actually go for the Earth Power. This probably was a mistake because Poison Fang, even though it wouldn't KO, probably could get the thumb down before they got to another move. I'm not sure. But either way, that ends up working out because we just KO it. Out comes the Sand Slash. I do want to get to the Earth Power to threaten a shield, but they actually throw just before I do. So nice counting by my opponent. So yeah, Ice Punch obviously going to KO, but at least I could align the Defense Deoxys onto the Sand Slash. Out comes Skeledirge. OMG. So I'm going to go ahead and throw my Psycho Boost and then dip into Umbreon. Now, I know that Skeledirge, I did get the shield too. I know that Skeledirge does have access to Disarming Voice, and I do expect it, but I could take a couple Disarming Voices, but they actually have Flamethrower, which tells me they don't have Disarming Voice, so that's really good, and my opponent concedes there. So that's going to be a good game, very well played to my opponent. Yeah, kind of like RPS, I guess, towards my opponent, but Sableye leads. So I did mention I did get a lot of Ghost leads, and I'm going to go ahead and go into my Nidoqueen. Really bad for me because, I mean, what else do? You can't go into your Umbreon. You got to go into Nidoqueen, right? So I'm going to go ahead and commit the shield right now on the foul play. And I'm like, alright, well, Sableye is staying in. So I'm going to go ahead and farm up and go for the Poison Fang because if they don't shield an Earth Power, it's just going to devastate that Sableye. And my opponent does shield, which is good for me. Now I'm going to go ahead and commit the shield. And at this time, I remember thinking, am I going to bait again? I wasn't sure, but they actually switched into Venusaur. So what I'm going to do is charge up and just go full send the Earth Power, because the Earth Power is going to absolutely devastate that Venusaur. And yeah, look at that. It almost one-shots it. So then I can just farm down. You love to see it. You love to see it. So out comes that Sableye. Can I make it to another one? OMG, guys. I make it to another one. And if they shield, I do have an Umbreon for that Sableye, and my opponent does not shield. Out comes Registeel, and that is a good game. Able to take that one. Tough lead, but able to win it. Deoxys into Noctowl. Okay, so generally kind of like a neutral lead, right? Because yes, we have Thunderbolt, which is super effective, but they also have Shadow Ball, which is super effective towards me. So you do have to keep that in mind. I think I was contemplating whether or not I should shield that. I do decide to shield it. But look at that. My opponent actually catches the Thunderbolt on Swampert. What a catch. My opponent outplays me this game. I'm just going to be real. Great catch. So I'm going to go ahead and farm up the energy again and then go into my Umbreon. So I'm just going to go ahead and fire off an attack. It's going to be a Hydro Cannon, that's fine. Umbreon. Look at my IVs on the Umbreon, by the way. I should build another one. This was before, yeah, this was just before I had the remake community day. I had to trade for this one. I was at a Sylph tournament, and it luckily went below 1500 CP. So that's why I have this one, and I never built another one. But I probably should. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and go for the foul play right now. KO that Swampert. And now out comes Noctowl. Can I make it? I actually do make it, but no, my opponent does throw an attack with the Noctowl. So Sky Attack is going to be enough to KO. Yeah, let me know if you could understand me with the Ghost Face mask on. If you can't, I won't wear it again for a video, but just let me know what you think in the comments down below. But I do pick up a shield there with the Defense Deoxys, which is very, very nice. I'm going to go ahead and commit a shield right now, and it's going to be that ball, as expected. And look at that, another catch. So that catching 2 Thunderbolts, really, really well played by my opponent. But I know Nidoqueen does do a good job at walling this Registeel, right? So I'm going to go ahead and bring in my Nidoqueen. I mean, maybe not walling, because Focus Blast still does a tremendous amount. They could probably 2-shot me after the lock-ons, which is crazy. So I'm going to Overfawn and go for this Earth Power, which will be enough to KO. I don't expect the shield. I wasn't sure if my opponent would shield. They decided not to. Noctowl is coming in. Unfortunately, I can knock it to an attack. I basically need to farm down with Defense Deoxys, right? Or no, get to 2 Psycho Boost. I do make it to 2 Psycho Boost, and I throw 1. I'm hoping my opponent is not at an attack because they will win CMP. But look at that, they win CMP. They win CMP. Well played to my opponent. Yeah, I mean, the 2 catches, catching both my Thunderbolts, really well done, really well played. They deserve that win. Good game. Moving on, another Sableye lead. Bad lead, but we got to go ahead and pivot out into the Nidoqueen. And usually, like, when I've been switching out, my opponents have been staying in with the Ghost types, which does make sense. Because, like, Sableye still generally does well against Nidoqueen. Actually, my opponent switches out into Noctowl here. Another Noctowl. So I'm going to go ahead and go for the Poison Fang. Yeah, I mean, obviously you do want to save that Sableye, right? For the Deoxys. But at the same time, Sableye is resisting the poison attacks from the Nidoqueen as well. So we go for another Poison Fang. Going to shield this one up. I do want to win Switch, but my opponent's shielded, so there's no way and no world they're going to let me get Switch, right? Because they know they have a dominating matchup waiting for them in the back. So they're definitely going to shield that one up. That was a CMP tie, so at least I take the energy from the Noctowl. But I do lose Switch, which is not great. Shields it down. I'm going to bring in Deoxys and then switch immediately. I'm hoping their switch time is not up quite yet, because remember, they switched out a little bit later than I did. But no, they actually catch on the Azu. Okay, I mean, at the end of the day, like, it was a great catch, don't get me wrong. Props to my opponent for that catch. But the catch wouldn't have, I would have lost anyway, right? Even if they didn't catch, like, even if I didn't throw there, I would have lost anyway, because the Azu would have been able to beat my Umbreon, and Sableye would have been able to beat my Deoxys. So, good game. Okay, moving on. Good lead. We're going to see a Lickitung safe swap. So, basically want to go for the Psycho Boost and dip. Umbreon does pretty well against Lickitung just because you do resist the Lick attacks. And Umbreon is such a tank. But I wanted to get some damage off to make sure I win this matchup. Although, to be honest, like, do I really need to win this matchup? Because Nidoqueen also does well against that Medicham. Although Nidoqueen is weak to Ice. So, Ice Punch is a thing. So, we'll see. Either way, I'm going to go ahead and take these Body Slams just fine. That's fine. Definitely going to overfarm a lot so I can at least do some damage. I don't mind taking another attack. I'd rather that Medicham get low anyway. So I'd rather take... Honestly, probably should have even taken another one, to be honest. But either way, I do go ahead and throw the Foul Play right now. That will KO. I'm going to go ahead and switch out immediately. Okay, yeah, so I switch out immediately. The reason I do that is because I know I have the Nidoqueen for that Medicham later. If they decide to switch out of the Medicham. Ice Punch coming out. I'm going to go ahead and throw my Thunderbolt right now into the Medicham. See what they want to do. Do they want to commit a shield? They do not want to commit a shield. What is in the back? And hopefully Nidoqueen does well against it. But I'm going to go ahead and take this Ice Punch. And it's a Carbink. And I saw Carbink, I was thinking, that's actually pretty good for me. That's actually pretty good for me. Can't complain about that. I'll go ahead and throw that Thunderbolt. Umbreon wants to avoid that at all costs, right? Umbreon has no play against it. Just going to go ahead and throw these immediately. Not going to bait the Earth Power. Just going to throw the Poison Fang. I want to debuff it ASAP. And that does pretty good damage. Yeah, I really do believe that Nidoqueen is underrated. Yes, it was nerfed several seasons ago. It's not as good. Of course, I understand that. But it's still really good. So at this point, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and commit the shield and go for the Poison Jab all the way down. But to switch into Medicham, I'm going to go ahead and throw my Poison Fang. I'm going to be able to throw a couple of them. I'm almost at the other one. I do get to another one, and then I do have a Foul Play on Umbreon, and I can switch out and go for that Foul Play as soon as this picks up the shield, and that's exactly what I do. So I'm going to go ahead and go for that foul play. That will be enough to KO. And I'll be able to get to a foul play. Now, Carbink does wall Umbreon, but I'm still able to win this one because of how low they are. So good game, well played to my opponent as always, all my opponents. But yeah, let's go ahead and move into the next battle. Defense Deoxys into Jealous, another Ghost lead, another lead you hate to see. I'm going to go into Nidoqueen, which is a terrible matchup, especially since they had Bubble. However, my opponent responds with a Registeel. That actually really surprised me. That must have been a misclick because this is a great matchup for Nidoqueen. So Nidoqueen can go ahead and take this one. They actually go for the Zap Cannon. Focus Blast does do more damage. I'm going to go ahead and throw the Poison Fang. I figured, my thought process was, okay, I throw the Poison Fang, and if they get to a Focus Blast, it still won't be enough to KO me. I could be wrong, actually. I think it would have actually KO'd me. So that may have been a mistake. But either way, out comes Jellicent. So I'm going to be able to get off this Earth Power. And I do have the Umbreon for that Jellicent, which is definitely what you need to see. And we pick up a shield, which is beautiful. Gotta let him farm me down. But that's fine because, yeah, we have Umbreon. And yeah, I know Surf and Bubble Beam, whichever one they have, they do have Surf. And Bubble, of course, adding up compared to Hex. But still, Scrafty coming in. Ooh, okay. So I do believe I make a little bit of a mistake. I decided not to shield this. I feel like I should have shielded this one. It is a foul play. I mean, at the end of the day, it's not really going to matter. But I feel like I should have shielded that one. But either way, I'm going to go ahead and throw my Thunderbolt into the Scrafty. Scrafty is going to go ahead and commit the shield. Because the thing is, like, Umbreon doesn't need shields against Jellicent. Not when it's at full health or close to it, right? So I ultimately have to end up shielding a Power Punch. And I'm going to have to shield 2 attacks anyway. So yeah, I should have shielded that foul play. But anyway, that's okay. That's okay. I actually could have farmed this Scrafty down as well. So another mistake by me. But at the time I was just thinking, okay, let's just get rid of it so we can have Umbreon in the back just go to town against the Jellicent. So I guess I knew it didn't matter, but still, it's still important to think back and think, okay, I could have done a little bit different there, right? But either way, I knew Umbreon was going to be able to take this anyway against the Jellicent. But yeah, either way, we'll take this game. Good game, well played to my opponent. Yeah, tough game. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess they had to stay in with the Jellicent, you know, when I switched into Nidoqueen. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead, another Ghost lead. I'm going to go ahead and go into my Shadow Nidoqueen. I told you, I bet a lot of Ghost leads. And they're staying in, so I'm going to go ahead and commit a shield. It's going to be a foul play, that's fine. I understand the Ghost leads as well, right? Because there's so many Defense Deoxys leads. I see a lot of them. So I do get the shield from the Poison Fang, which is really nice. I'm going to go ahead and commit the second shield, thinking, well, can I flip switch here? Maybe, I mean, if they let this Earth Power go through, but do I bait again? I do actually bait again. So I do decide to bait again. Let's see if my opponent, and they do actually shield it, and then they switch into Alolan Ninetales. It has Powder Snow, but I'm going to be able to get off my Poison Fang right now, and I decided not to switch because I knew how much damage I could do to it. And the thing is, I know they can't make a Dazzling Gleam now, so I know this is a Weather Ball, of course. I'm just going to go ahead and take it. I did so much damage to that Alolan Ninetales. Now I'm going to switch out, and my opponent's switch locked, so they can't switch out, right? I do click on my move, or at least I attempt to. They get off their return first, which is a little bit unfortunate. It would have been nice to prevent that return from coming through, but that's okay. I could have overfarmed, but again, I just wanted to get rid of the Sableye so Deoxys doesn't have to see Sableye, right, before their switch timer comes up. Charizard coming in. Okay, we should be good here because I should be able to get to an attack with Deoxys. I do live a Blast Burn. That Foul Play does a lot of damage. Can I make it to another one? I cannot. Now, I knew that I would probably live a Dragon Claw, so they have to go for the Blast Burn, and it is the Blast Burn. So I'm going to bring in Deoxys, and yeah, we get to the move at the same time, but I know I live a Blast Burn. If it was a Shadow one, I wouldn't live it, but it's a non-Shadow one. So that's good for me. And I'm going to be able to get off the Psycho Boost, which will be enough to KO. So defeating another Ghost lead. So I defeated most of it. I think I only lost to one Ghost lead so far. It's crazy. Absolutely insane. This team has been working out well for me. Another Ghost lead. Skeledirge. Okay, got to go into the Nidoqueen. Skeledirge is staying. And it makes sense, right? Okay, so I know they're at the Shadow Ball, so I'm gonna go ahead and commit the shield. It is the Shadow Ball, that's fine. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the Poison Fang, see if the Skeledirge wants the shield or if they want to let it go. They do want to shield, okay, very nice. I'm actually gonna bait again, and I figured they would shield this. But they don't. So I'm gonna go ahead and commit the shield. So that was a good call by my opponent, Shadow Ball, and I was like, maybe I could farm down, but Venusaur comes in. Wow, okay, so I do get to the Earth Power. Will my opponent let this one go, or will they shield this one? The Skeledirge is very low. They let it go. But they still make it to the attack, so they're still going to KO my Nidoqueen, but at least I did so much damage to it. Now one counter, boop, we'll take rid of that, get rid of that Venusaur. Skeledirge, as I said, is low. If Skeledirge comes in, I can go ahead and go into my Umbreon and go for the Snarl down. It is low, perhaps not low enough where I could counter it down. Unfortunately, they do get off a Disarming Voice, though, which I am weak to, right? But that's fine because I can still farm it down and I have a healthy Deoxys. Oh, Poliwrath. Generally speaking, this would not be good. However, one Cycle Boost after these last resorts probably be enough to KO the Poliwrath, right? Can I make it to one more? I can make it to one more. So a Cycle Boost will definitely be enough to pick up the knockout if I get to it. I'm assuming my opponent is going for the farm down now. They really have to. But Deoxys can take multiple Scalds, right? So we should be good because we just reached that Cycle Boost. So yeah, another Ghost type lead. I'm going to be able to... Oh no, they still have a shield. That's right. So I'm going for the counter down. That's right. Because they still have a shield. So Scald is going to come through, but the Poliwrath will faint, and we're going to be able to take that. And that's going to be a great game, very well played to all of my opponents. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Have a good day. Bye.